We don't lack money, we lack connection. We are living in the most connected era in human history. There is Wi-Fi in our pockets, notifications every few minutes, unlimited content, thousands of friends, global reach in seconds, and yet something essential is disappearing. Not income, not entertainment, not access, connection, not digital contact, not followers, not matches, real connection. Here's the uncomfortable truth. As people grow lonelier, industries grow richer. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's not a secret boardroom plan to make humanity miserable. It's something more subtle and more powerful. Modern systems don't just sell products anymore. They sell substitutes for human relationships. And that market is exploding. Human beings evolved in tribes. For most of our existence, being alone wasn't peaceful, it was dangerous. Isolation meant vulnerability. Exclusion meant death. Our brains are wired to interpret loneliness as a threat. Connection isn't a luxury, it's biological infrastructure. Fast forward to today. We live in megacities with millions of people. We can video call across continents. We can message anyone instantly. Yet across the world, surveys show rising levels of loneliness, especially among young adults. More people report having fewer close friends, lacking someone they can confide in, feeling emotionally isolated. We have more access than ever, but fewer anchors. And whenever a core human need goes unmet, markets respond, not by fixing the root cause, but by monetizing the gap. Dating platforms were introduced as tools for connection, but today, they function as something far more powerful: validation machines. A swipe is not just a gesture, it's a micro hit of possibility. A match triggers dopamine. A notification sparks anticipation. A message gives temporary reassurance, I am wanted. But let's examine the business structure. Platforms like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge are not optimized for permanent exits. If every user found lasting love, revenue would collapse. These platforms rely on user retention, repeated engagement, premium upgrades, visibility boosts, algorithmic optimization. In other words, they profit when you keep searching. They don't sell love, they sell hope. They sell visibility. They sell the feeling of being close to connection. Romance becomes gamified. Human intimacy becomes algorithm-driven. Loneliness becomes recurring revenue. To be clear, dating apps can create real relationships. Many couples meet this way. But structurally, the system benefits more from perpetual searching than permanent pairing. The longer you feel almost connected, the more valuable you are. Chapter 3: Therapy as a subscription model. The rise of digital mental health platforms is another signal. Companies like BetterHelp and Talkspace have seen enormous growth in recent years. On one level, this is positive. Access to therapy is critical. Many people genuinely need professional help. But here's the deeper question: why are so many people experiencing distress in the first place? Historically, emotional buffering came from extended family, neighborhood communities, religious groups, local social networks. Today, people relocate frequently for work. Families are smaller and geographically scattered. Work hours are demanding. Social circles are fluid and unstable. As traditional support systems weaken, individuals turn to paid support. Therapy becomes essential not only because individuals are broken, but because social fabric is thinning. We have moved from community-based resilience to subscription-based coping. Again, therapy is not the problem. The issue is that we are increasingly outsourcing what used to be shared human responsibility. Listening now has a price tag. Chapter 4: Online Gaming, Belonging in a Virtual World. Massively multiplayer games are no longer just games. They are social ecosystems. In worlds like Fortnite and World of Warcraft, players form guilds, squads, clans, long-term alliances. There are shared missions, shared victories, shared identities. For many players, these spaces feel more affirming than school or workplace. Inside a game, you can matter, you can lead, you can achieve, you can belong. Gaming generates revenue through subscriptions, skins and cosmetic items, battle passes, in-game currencies. But beneath the mechanics lies something deeper, a monetized sense of belonging. When physical communities shrink, digital communities scale. Again, gaming itself is not inherently harmful. It can foster genuine friendships across borders. The risk emerges when the virtual world becomes the primary or only source of recognition and connection. When offline identity weakens, online identity strengthens, and the system adapts accordingly. Chapter 5: Streaming, companionship without friction. Streaming platforms are perhaps the most subtle players in the loneliness economy. Netflix, Spotify, YouTube. They do not promise connection directly, they promise entertainment. But what they often deliver is something else: emotional occupation, a voice in the room, a story to follow, a personality to attach to. Algorithms learn your mood. They anticipate your preferences. They create the illusion of intimacy. Podcasters feel like friends. Streamers feel familiar. Characters feel personal. This is the era of parasocial relationships. One-sided emotional bonds. You know them. They don't know you. Streaming doesn't demand vulnerability. It doesn't require compromise. It doesn't ask you to listen back. It fills silence without challenging you. And in an increasingly solitary world, especially in urban environments where millions live alone, that silence becomes profitable. Chapter 6: Urban design and the architecture of isolation. Modern cities are efficient. They are optimized for productivity, mobility, and economic throughput, but rarely for intimacy. Young professionals in New York, London, Berlin, Tokyo, Toronto, Sydney, many live in small apartments, often alone. They earn more than previous generations at their age. They have access to endless services. They can order food, groceries, and entertainment instantly. Yet dinner is frequently eaten solo. Remote work reduces spontaneous interaction. E-commerce replaces local shop conversations. Gig economies replace stable teams. Everything becomes flexible. Flexibility increases opportunity but decreases rootedness. When neighborhoods stop functioning as communities and become merely locations, connection weakens. And once connection weakens, demand rises for substitutes. Chapter 7: Fragmented individuals, profitable consumers. There is no secret global conspiracy engineering loneliness, but there is a structural pattern. Modern economic systems reward high mobility, individual autonomy, personal branding, productivity over presence. These traits increase GDP. They also fragment social bonds. An isolated individual consumes differently than a connected one. Loneliness correlates with higher impulsive spending, increased digital consumption, greater dependence on entertainment, more time spent online. A tightly connected community shares resources. An isolated individual purchases solutions. This is not about blame. It is about incentives. Markets respond to demand. Loneliness creates demand. The question is not whether companies are evil. The question is whether our social structure unintentionally manufactures profitable isolation. Chapter 8: The illusion of abundance. Globally, material access has expanded. More people have smartphones. More people have access to global markets. More people have entertainment options. Yet mental health challenges are rising in many developed and developing nations. More choice does not equal more closeness. We optimized for convenience. We scaled for speed. We digitized interaction. But connection is slow. Connection is inefficient. Connection requires presence. You cannot automate empathy, and yet we are trying to approximate it. We don't lack money in many parts of the world. We lack depth. Chapter 9: The coming expansion. iCompanionship. If current trends continue, the next frontier is obvious. iCompanions. Emotionally responsive chat systems. Virtual partners. Hyper-personalized digital personalities. These systems will not judge. They will not reject. They will not leave. For some, this may provide relief, but we must ask, if machines become our primary emotional mirrors, what happens to human tolerance for imperfection? Real relationships involve friction, misunderstanding, growth. Synthetic companionship removes friction, and friction, uncomfortable as it is often where intimacy is built. The loneliness economy is evolving. The substitutes are becoming more convincing. Chapter 10: Solutions, rebuilding what markets cannot replace. Technology is not the enemy. Dating apps can help people meet. Therapy can save lives. Games can build friendships. Streaming can inspire and educate. The issue arises when substitutes replace substance. So what can be done? 1. Reinvest in local community. Join physical groups, not just online forums. Sports clubs, book circles, volunteer organizations, neighborhood initiatives. Proximity builds familiarity. Familiarity builds trust. Trust builds connection. Connection requires repetition and shared experience. No algorithm can compress that process. 2. Protect time for relationships. Many people claim they are too busy, yet hours disappear into scrolling. Time exists. It is simply allocated to the easiest option. Schedule connection intentionally, weekly dinners, regular phone calls, in-person gatherings. If connection is not protected, it will be replaced by convenience. 3. Shift from passive consumption to active participation. Streaming is passive. Scrolling is passive. Watching is passive. Conversation is active. Listening is active. Hosting is active. The more passive we become, the easier it is for systems to occupy our emotional space. Reduce passive intake. Increase active engagement. 4. Build businesses that foster real connection. For entrepreneurs and creators, this is an opportunity. The next wave of meaningful innovation may not be purely digital scale, but hybrid connection. Spaces that facilitate real-world interaction. Blend online coordination with offline presence. Encourage shared experience over solitary consumption. In a world drowning in digital noise, real presence becomes premium. Chapter 11: Loneliness as a public health crisis. Loneliness is increasingly discussed as a public health concern in multiple countries. Research links chronic loneliness to cardiovascular risk, weakened immune function, sleep disruption, cognitive decline. The economic cost of isolation extends beyond APP subscriptions. It affects healthcare systems, workplace productivity, and societal cohesion. If left unaddressed, the long-term financial burden may exceed the profits generated. The irony is stark. We built systems to maximize growth. Now we must ensure growth does not erode the social foundations that make prosperity meaningful. The final choice: the loneliness economy will not disappear. As long as connection is scarce, substitutes will be profitable. But we are not powerless consumers inside a rigid machine. We can choose to use technology as a tool, not a replacement. To engage intentionally, not endlessly. To prioritize presence over performance. Because at the end of the day, the deepest human need is not speed, not convenience, not constant stimulation. It is to be seen, to be heard, to matter to someone real. We don't lack money, we lack connection. And no subscription, no upgrade, no premium feature can fully replace that.